Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tom.
Hey, it's our TOEIC unit. I think the subject today is very interesting, product placement, which is a form of advertising that has gained popularity over the years. And now, every time I watch a TV show or a movie, all I can see are the product placement products that they've got in there, And it gets kind of irritating after a while. But that's how they make money. A lot of advertising revenue is made doing product placement in particular shows that are popular or movies. Anytime you're watching a movie and you happen to see someone using a Mac laptop, that's a product placement.
Indeed, and we only have ourselves to blame because we watch movies and we prefer to have certain actors and actresses be in those movies. So, of course, those actors and actresses realize they're worth a lot of money, so they demand a high salary. And in order to come up with some more money to pay them, they need to be paid by these advertisers to place their products in their movies, various soft drinks or computer products or whatever.
Anything.
And, of course, this isn't interesting. It's not a coincidence. Those products are in there on purpose, and these companies have to have meetings about their strategies, how they're going to do this, how they're going to place their products in movies and TV shows and YouTube videos or whatever. And that's the kind of conversation that Ken, Allison, and Dave are having in today's lesson. They're trying to promote products with product placement, so let's listen to their conversation right now. Thank you both for coming here on such short notice. The reason I summoned you to this meeting is to let you know how pleased I am with your work on our latest venture.
I appreciate the compliment, but I think Dave deserves most of the credit. After all, he and his team are responsible for manufacturing the products.
You're too kind. Our customers wouldn't be so enthusiastic about our products without your team's exceptional marketing ideas. I'm glad you brought up marketing, Dave. I want to expand on our initial campaign, which was focused primarily on TV commercials and pop-up ads.
What did you have in mind?
I spoke with some of our investors, and they think the time is ripe for some product placement ads. That could work. Perhaps we can partner with some famous celebrities and pay them to promote our products.
I'm sure that would bring us some immediate exposure. It might put us over budget, though.
You're correct, Allison. So our idea is to work with some key opinion leaders online instead. We can find 50 or so that are popular with our target market.
I'll have my team identify some potential candidates. Can you advise on what types of posts we should have them create?
Sure. It shouldn't be too obvious that we're promoting our product in the post. I think the ads will have a greater impact if they're fun and our product isn't the center of attention. Okay, let's dive right into this, shall we? It's our TOEIC unit for the month of March, and the title of our article for today is Promoting Products with Product Placement. So we probably should explain exactly what product placement is, although we did touch on it in our introduction. But basically, it's when you see a movie or a TV show or a YouTube video or something, and you see a product in the actual footage, okay? It's not really obvious. It's just sitting there on the table, or the person in the video is using it or whatever, but they don't really say anything about it, but it's there, you can see it, and therefore it's a kind of advertising.
It sure is. They used to just block out the brand names of things. Do you remember this?
Sure.
Tom, when we were growing up on TV, if somebody was drinking, for example, a can of Coke, they would make it generic. Generic just means no brand. And they would, put something else on the can because they didn't want to advertise for Coke free of charge. But then somebody smart out there in advertising realized, hey, wait a minute. This is advertising as well if we can get them to actually use the brand name in a TV show or in a movie. And so that's how it first started. So Ken is probably the boss. He sounds like the boss. And he says, thank you both for coming here on such short notice. On short notice just means with no advance warning. Maybe he told them, a couple of hours before. They hadn't planned on this meeting on this particular day. But when the boss calls you or tells you he wants to meet with you, you go. So he is the boss. So on short notice means you didn't get much advance notice or warning of something.
Yeah, and you kind of have to drop everything you're doing and go meet with the boss. When the boss says jump, you ask how high. So indeed, they're having this meeting, but still the boss understands that they have other things to do. So he's grateful. Thank you for coming here on such short notice. And then he gets down to business here. He comes straight to the point. The reason I summoned you to this meeting is to let you know how pleased I am with your work on our latest venture. Okay, this is probably not the only reason he called this meeting, but he's still being nice to them. He's giving them some compliments, I guess, to sort of warm them up for what he really wants to talk about. But in any case, this is what he says at the beginning. He wants to give them some compliments. He summoned them to the meeting. So here we've got the word summon, which means basically you request the presence of somebody. You ask them to come to where you are and to be present. You can be summoned to a meeting, or maybe you can be summoned to the police station to give some testimony on some kind of accident you saw.
And he's pleased with their work on their latest venture or business enterprise. So I think he wants to reassure them that he isn't calling them to this meeting to, criticize them or get after them for something. So Allison says, I appreciate the compliment, but then she's very generous and says it's really Dave who deserves most of the credit, her coworker, which is really nice. That doesn't often happen. So if you are getting complimented or someone is complimenting you, this word can be a verb or a noun. It's pronounced the same either way. It just means someone is praising you. They're giving you some praise for something that they like or admire about you or something that you've done. So that's a nice position to be in if your boss is actually complimenting you. But like I said, Allison's very generous, and she points at her coworker Dave and says he deserves most of the credit. Why? Well, he and his team are responsible for manufacturing the product. So I guess the product is quite good, and so they've done well with it so far.
Okay, so I guess both of these people have different responsibilities in the company. Again, here, I think Allison is in charge of marketing, or does have something to do with marketing, whereas Dave has something to do with the manufacture of the products. So they're passing compliments all over the place here. Ken compliments both of them. Allison compliments Dave, and Dave compliments Allison. And here's what he says. He says, you're too kind. That's very nice of you to say that. And then he goes on to say, our customers wouldn't be so enthusiastic about our products without your team's exceptional marketing ideas. So, my goodness, they are just one big happy family here, complimenting each other all over the place.
Yeah.
Not criticizing each other, not complaining, at least not yet. But he's complimenting her about enthusiasm here. So here we've got the word enthusiastic as the adjective. If you're really excited about something and you're really willing to work hard for that thing and you really want to see results and you're excited about it, we can say that you are enthusiastic. Okay, so maybe you might be very enthusiastic when your team is playing a game against another team. I want to go out there and cheer for my team. I want to show my support. You're very enthusiastic.
Yeah, and she's been able to come up with some exceptional marketing ideas. Exceptional just means really good, unusually good, outstanding. So I guess they've both been doing a great job in their different fields. Now, the boss gets back to saying, I'm glad you brought up marketing, Dave. I want to expand on our initial campaign. When you're advertising a new product, you typically have an advertising campaign that you plan. We use campaign in different ways, but advertising campaign is just your plan to get some publicity or promotion for your product. You want to promote it. So it's a series of things that you plan to do. It's not just one thing. A campaign for a new product might include TV ads, ads in magazines, maybe getting a sponsor, asking a celebrity to recommend your product. Those are all parts of a campaign that people do for advertising. Now, initial means first, right? So it sounds like they're going to have lots of campaigns for products, and they always do, of course. But the initial campaign was the very first one they did. So initial just means occurring at the very beginning of something. So you could say, oh, I love Taiwan, especially the food. Of course, my initial impression was, ooh, they use a lot of garlic in their food. That was your first impression. It may change after a while, but initial just means occurring at the beginning or existing at the beginning. The initial alphabet letter in the alphabet for us is A.
Right, or people have their initials. My initials are TJB. I'm not going to tell you what they stand for, but those are my initials. I don't really know what yours are. I know
they're
SB,
terrible. It's SAB.
Oh, SAB.
Sab.
Interesting.
Yeah, weird, huh?
My brother's initials are SAB as well.
There you go.
Interesting. What a coincidence. But in any case here, initial here just means the first campaign. This is an advertising campaign. There could be an election campaign, exactly, that happens when someone runs for political office. And yes, their first campaign or their initial campaign focused primarily on TV commercials and pop-up ads. So you have commercials on TV and on the radio. But if you're looking at internet content, when something kind of just pops up on your screen and you got to look for that little X to get rid of the stupid thing, that is a pop-up ad. They can be distracting, but I guess sometimes they're effective.
Or you can use a browser that will block those. That's what I do. The Brave browser blocks pop-up ads.
Cool.
Oh, they drive me nuts. So Allison says, what did you have in mind? Well, her boss says, I spoke with some of our investors. An investor is somebody who takes money and puts it into a business, and hopefully that business continues to be successful and they get their initial investment back plus more money. So he spoke with some of the investors and they think the time is ripe for some product placement ads. If the time is ripe for something, guys, we usually use that word to talk about fruit, right? If fruit is ripe, it's just perfect for eating. It's not too green or hasn't fully developed if it's not ripe. If it's overly ripe, it's probably past the perfect time to eat something. But if the time is ripe for something, and we'll use this phrase quite often, just means the time is perfect for whatever action or purpose you have in mind. So the time's perfect, he says, for some product placement ads now.
That will be another kind of advertising campaign. Dave seems to like that idea. He says that could work. It might actually be effective. And he goes on to say, perhaps we can partner with some famous celebrities and pay them to promote our products. Partner here oftentimes is used as a noun. This is my business partner, Mr. Lee. I'd like to introduce you, but here we're using the word partner as a verb. It just means to work together with somebody. So we could work together. We could partner with some famous celebrities. And then, of course, we'll have to pay them to promote our products, again, using product placement.
Yeah, so those are some of the ideas they have. We have Allison who says, I'm sure that would bring us some immediate exposure. Exposure here just means would give them some publicity. So exposure is often used to talk about publicizing some information, a product, an event. You want some exposure for new products especially, but here is the downside. She says it might put us over budget, though, so they would be spending more than they had planned to spend initially. Ken says you're correct, Allison. So our idea is to work with some key opinion leaders. An opinion leader is somebody who has some sort of influence on the public for some reason. Maybe they could be celebrities, maybe they could be experts in their field. If they're on social media, guys, a lot of times we use the phrase influencers. If you're a social media influencer, it means you weren't famous to begin with, but so many people like your YouTube website or your Instagram account that they start following you. And those people have influence on what these people think and buy.
Yep, they're opinion leaders. They tell us all about what they think, and we may agree with them. So, yes, they could partner with some of those opinion leaders who are online. And Ken goes on to say we can find 50 or so that are popular with our target market. Okay, so that's a lot of people there, but indeed they could find 50 of those key opinion leaders so that they could promote their products. Allison goes on to say, I'll have my team identify some potential candidates. So she's got a marketing team here, and she needs to identify some of those people that they possibly could partner with.
Now, remember, if you advise somebody, you are giving them your recommendation about something. Typically, it's because you have some sort of experience there. So you advise somebody on something. That's the grammar phrase that we use, advise somebody. So can you advise us? Hey, can you advise me on the best brand of shampoo? So she's going to ask them, well, she's asking her boss, what types of posts should we have them create? So pretty good plan there. She's going to have her team pick out some candidates, and then she asked her boss what types of posts. Posts here are things that we put online in social media platforms. You guys say one po, which I discovered one day. But we say post. Post can be a verb or a noun.
And Ken likes what he's hearing here. He says, sure, it shouldn't be too obvious that we're promoting our product in the post. That's what product placement is all about. You don't want to be too obvious. Somebody drinking the beverage and holding it up next to their face with a big smile. That's too obvious. You want to be subtle, okay? You want it to not be so clear. And he goes on to say, I think the ads will have a greater impact if they're fun and our product isn't the center of attention. So here, impact just means how effective something is. It just means it's really noticeable and it's really effective in its influence. So yes, if we have this kind of advertisement, it will have greater effect or greater impact and will sell more products. And people won't even know that they're being advertised to. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, so again, this is a really interesting subject, and it's so current because nowadays we're surrounded by social media, and the ads are right there, product placements there as well. So we will take a quick break, now listen to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back to talk about some of these useful expressions. And of course, we have some discussion questions.
各位同学，大家好，我是 Patrick 老师。我们今天一同学习的是多益的单元。在这个对话里面有3个主要的人物，这3个人物分别是 Ken， 他是公司的高阶主管，以及 Allison， 他是帮这家公司做行销的人。第3位是 Dave， 他属于制造部门的。Ken 临时召开了会议，邀请其他2位加入会议。首先，他感谢 Allison 和 Dave，让最近的专案做得非常成功。Allison 不敢居功， Dave 则说多亏了 Allison 团队的行销妙方，顾客才会对产品有热烈的回响。Ken 呢，就是这家公司的高阶主管，他想要进一步的邀请网红，或者我们说 KOL， 就是在网络世界具有影响力的这些人 Key Opinion Leaders，请这些 KOL 做置入式行销。最后，他们讨论由 Allison 的行销团队拟定可能合作的网红对象，请网红在贴文当中让产品可以低调的曝光。同学对整篇3人对话有了全面的了解之后，我们再进一步的看看整篇对话里面有哪些特别值得我们学习的单字片语。首先看到 Ken 对大家说的，很抱歉，这么临时请大家来开会。On such short notice， 这个片语是这么临时、这么仓促、这么晚通知大家，请大家记得 on such short notice， 形容词要记得用 short 而不是 late。第二个句型，我想请同学特别注意的是，我们要懂得称赞别人。我们可以说 How pleased I am with your work。 请同学注意到，这并不是一个问句，而是惊叹句。How pleased I am with your work。 我们看到形容词 pleased， 它是直接放在 how 的后面， how 后面直接加形容词 How pleased I am with your work， 这表示感叹、赞叹的意思。第三个，我们看到 Allison 他不敢居功，他不敢争功劳，他说一切的功劳都是 Dave 的，所以他说 Dave deserves most of the credit。Credit 这里的意思是功劳。我们晓得老师刚刚提到争功劳、推卸责任都是在企业界或者在职场上不受欢迎的。我们应该要学习负责任 take responsibility。 那不应该 take credit for other people's work。 别人的努力我们不应该居功，We should not take credit for other people's work。 接下来我们看到 Ken 说到 You brought up marketing， 很高兴你提到了行销这个部分。再来下一个片语 The time is ripe for some product placement ads。 我想我们时机成熟了，可以做一点产品置入式的广告。 Time is ripe for就是做什么事情的时机成熟了。接下来再下一个 We can partner with some internet celebrities and pay them to promote our products。 这边 partner 这个词请大家注意，它并不是名词伙伴，而是当动词用。我们可以和某些网红合作，然后呢付钱给这些网红，请他们推销我们的产品。第七，下一点 It might put us over budget though。 但这么做，假设我们去争取曝光度，可能会让我们超过预算。 It might put us over budget。 请注意，超出预算可以这么说 It might put us over budget。 而最后的这个 though 是什么意思呢？它不是虽然，而是但是。这么做很好，但是我们可能会超出预算。It might put us over budget, though. 好，再下一个 Can you advise on what types of posts we should have them create? 可不可以请你建议一下，我们应该要请网红做什么样子的贴文？好，请同学把 on 这个介系词圈起来，针对什么提出建议，介系词用 on。 最后一点Make sure that our product is in the center of attention so that the ads will have a greater impact. 最后呢 Ken 高阶主管希望不要做得太高调，所以不要是大家注意的焦点 center of attention， 这样子才能够有比较好的效果 have a greater impact。 以上就是这三人对话的所有重点，谢谢大家。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's continue with some useful expressions here. Remember at the beginning of their meeting, Ken was giving some compliments. So that's nice. If you compliment people, it's a way to make them feel happy and everybody can work together. Don't just criticize people. Remember, pass out some compliments too. That helps get things done. Here's the first one. I really like your presentation. You did a great job explaining how the product works. So if somebody gave a presentation, you can give them compliments. I really liked your presentation. It was a great presentation, and you did a good job presenting it.
The second one says, you did a fantastic job. Fantastic's a fun word, too. Pick out a couple of adjectives that you feel comfortable using and get used to using those before you move on to others. Fantastic, wonderful, terrific, excellent. All of these are good words. Here it says, in fact, you received the highest mark in class. This is of course, a compliment you'd give to your classmates. If you got the highest mark, it's another word for saying score. You got the highest score in the class. So congratulations.
You got the highest score on the test, the highest mark on the test or in the class. And here's the third compliment. I didn't know you were such a talented cook. I'm impressed. So you could say that, gee, I didn't know you could do that. I'm impressed. That's amazing. That's fantastic. To be impressed just means somebody did something that you did not expect. It was kind of a big surprise. Okay, now let's go on to a discussion question here. Here's the question. Do any celebrities that you follow online make product placement posts? What are some products that they promote?
Yeah, actually. Some are subtle and some aren't so subtle, but I follow a couple of health people. One girl lifts weights, and she's pretty amazing. And so she'll often just have products on her counter as she's talking to us about some routine that she's doing or has done at the gym. There's also a guy I follow who is into stretching, and sometimes he'll have different pieces of equipment in the background that I can see. So sometimes they are actually advertising directly, and sometimes they aren't. Nowadays, it seems like a lot of the YouTubers who have their own YouTube channel are actually advertising or getting sponsors from products. So they'll actually talk about the product directly. But yeah, there are a lot of things that are still being subtly advertised with product placement.
Well, for me, there's a guy, his channel is about fixed gear bicycles. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but in any case, he promotes a bicycle brand. I'm not going to mention the name here, but he also says that he likes this himself anyway. He's not just doing it for advertising.
Right.
He prefers that particular brand of bicycle. So I guess he's being sincere here. I guess he likes riding that bike, so he promotes the bicycle. And I guess that is an example of product placement. Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. You can have a discussion amongst yourselves about this very same topic. Maybe there are also celebrities here in Taiwan that do some product placement advertisements on TV or on your favorite web channels. So from all of us here to English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.